Hi there. Well, I've brought this B.S.A Multishot, this B.S.A Ultra Multishot, which is a fine little weapon, and I'm not an expert in air guns. I'm an advanced shooting coach with shotgun, but not so much with the rifles and air guns. But it seems a lovely little beast, this, and I want to show you some of the problems I've had in setting it up, and in case some of you guys want to use the experience I've had already in putting these parts together and where to get them and what I've found, you might just find this short video useful. For instance, how I've got a laser sight on here, which also takes a torch for night work, the stand, the silencer, a new magazine and so on, the straps and this sort of thing. All of these things have come from reasonably priced sources on eBay and so on. So I'll just show you and discuss with you. Also the camera mount that goes on here. It took me quite a time to find that, and it's actually a very, very simple and useful little camera mount, very well made as well. And none of these things are extortionately expensive, including the case, which is only £18. The carry case is an amazing price, I think. So I'll just do a short video showing how we set this gun up and then how we use it on a few rats at the end for fun. The first problem I found was that the two magazines that came with the gun, and the gun is second hand, so I can't really blame the magazines, have been used quite a lot, they would slip on and not move to each consecutive pellet at each shot. They would jump 2 or 3 or 4 at a time, which is really aggravating when you want to take a shot at a rat or whatever, and then find when you pull the trigger just empty air comes out, as in fact you'll see at the end of this when we go rat shooting. By searching the internet I could soon find new parts, and came across a very good airgun company that supplied magazines. These two new ones for this gun, lightweight, colour coded for 177 and 22, and guaranteed not to slip past each pellet, as they used a whole new different system, so well worth the money. They weren't cheap though, they were over £40 a piece, but well worth it because they should last a long time. All the rest of the equipment I bought actually was very reasonably priced, as we'll discuss. Next was this Swiss Arms carry case at just under £20, and that was including postage as well. It has a couple of nice little pockets, zip pockets, well made, quite light, a velcro inside to hold the gun. I felt value for money certainly here. For comfort and ease of carrying the gun in the field, as I do like to go out and get a few squirrels and certainly a few rabbits occasionally, I wanted a carrying strap and I wanted the screws to hold the strap down. And the Jack Pike set of studs and sling were ideal for this, at just over £20 the whole set. Next, for night shooting we need a good lamp and a laser sight. The laser sight not for daytime work, but for quickly finding things with the crosshairs at night time, to get the gun straight onto the object before even bringing my eye down to it. Just an added luxury or bonus, and hardly necessary really. For many years I've used a long rifle, 2.2 long rifle, with just an ordinary lamp, nothing like that at all. And as the ranges are much shorter than the long rifle, I don't need such a powerful lamp. So this combined set, with a nice little lamp that reaches quite adequately and can be narrowed down to a wide or narrow beam, very, very useful. Again, comes from China and a good price. Just £14 all inclusive, including P&P. In the field for rabbit shooting I normally just use the thumbstick, or get down on one knee and then rest my elbow on my knee for steadiness. But as an added luxury, especially when zeroing in or target shooting at home, this little bipod is again very useful. Very well made, sturdy, comes from China again, and a good price, just under £15 including postage. Next is this lovely little camera mount that fits onto the end of the rifle scope at just under £25 including postage. I think a very good deal. Again, it's well made. The problem is more finding a camera that will suit. Most cameras are autofocus, and really we need a manual focus one to focus to the individual scope or the zoom on the scope. There seem to be some very good examples on YouTube of people using even mobile phones, but I'm not quite sure how they mount those. So if anybody has any suggestions or ideas of a reasonably priced camera that would fit this and has a manual focus, do let me know, because they seem to be at least £200 to £300 to find a reasonable one. In my case I'm using the Olympus Tough. A good silencer or sound moderator is certainly a must. When I was first testing this gun, and on the film here even with the rats, we were using a sound deflector rather than the sound moderator. With the sound moderator it's merely a tap at the end of the barrel. You can hardly hear it, just a whisper. This fire arc one is extremely good. Here's that rather good carry case I mentioned, the Swiss Arms one, and also you can see then the pockets which carry all the items you need, including the regulator for the air tank and so on. In the pocket you'll also notice that lightweight torch for night shooting which fits on top of the scope. The Velcro fasteners hold the gun in place securely. In all, a nice, neat, lightweight, compact weapon. And here it is with the camera fitted onto the mount at the end of the scope. Easy enough to use for target shooting, not quite so easy in the field as one's heads need to be back further from the stock. And as I've already touched upon, I was finding and do find problems with the autofocus on the camera and the rifle scope, and especially when zoomed right in. It tends to focus when it's out, but not so much when it's close in, which is when it's most needed. Anyway, let's take a little look at this in use and how we're going to fit the camera on, just doing a bit of zeroing in at the very beginning. This gives you an idea of how good the silencer is, as there's actually more noise from the pellet hitting the target than there is from the actual pellet coming out of the gun. Although I don't need it, I'll just show you the laser through the scope.
I'll put the laser on. Bring it up to its head.
At this stage I'm still zeroing in. Now let's see what the camera will pick up, and we'll put the gun to test in killing a few rats that are annoying my neighbour's chickens. In this case I'm leaning on a thumbstick, so it's not quite so steady. Another problem to be aware of is to make sure that the plunger or bolt had come right back. It's easy for the camera mount to be a little bit too far back and stop that from happening, so you've got to make sure the camera mount is set just right to allow the bolt action to come out and the pellet to go in. Those are all babies, but finally Daddy Rat comes out and meets his end.